Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another 10:30 a.m. UC Summer Storybook Series. I have a cute book for us today to read together, and then I have a little bit of an activity that we're going to do at the end. So while we're reading our story, I want you to think of the words that I'm saying. Think of the ones that maybe you know, or you use a lot, or you hear your parents using a lot. And then think about the ones that you don't know as well. So ones that you know are ones that you're familiar with. So you're used to hearing them in your life. And then the ones that you don't know, maybe you're more unfamiliar with. So you're not as used to hearing them, or maybe you don't even know the meaning of them. But we will talk about them after a reading. So I want to introduce our story today. It is called Little Wolf's Song. Isn't he cute? He's just a little baby wolf. And look, where is he at? Can you tell what's in the background? Do you think it's somewhere that's warm or somewhere that's cold? Yeah, it looks like it's somewhere that's cold. And why do you think that? What from this picture tells you that it might be cold? What are those? They're snowflakes. Yeah, because wolves usually like to live in climates that are colder. They have thick, warm fur to keep them safe and protected in the cold. Okay, Little Wolf's Song. Britta Teckentrup. Huh, it doesn't say anything else beside it except for her name, Britta Teckentrup. Who do we think that is? Oh, do we remember from our other stories? What does that usually mean? Who is this person? Do you remember? Is it the person who wrote the book? Yeah, do you remember what that's called? Britta Teckentrup is the author. Yes, the author is Britta Teckentrup. Now, what about the illustrator, the person who drew the pictures? It doesn't say it on the front page, so let's see. And here's the spine, and it says, Teckentrup, Little Wolf's Song. And here's the back of our book. It says, Little Wolf lives high up in the snowy mountains. Everything is perfect, except for one thing. He just can't howl. Will Little Wolf ever find his voice? Oh no! If he can't howl, what is he gonna do? Let's find out. And on the inside of our first page, let's read a little bit about what the story's gonna say. His mom, dad, sister, and brothers each have their own special song, but all Little Wolf can manage is a squeak. Will he ever learn to howl? No. What do you think? It says they all have their own special song. Are they singing? Maybe. Maybe their howl is like a song. Maybe it sounds like a song because it has melody to it. We'll see. Little Wolf's Song. All right, here we go. Little Wolf lived high up in the mountains. Every night his family howled, as all wolves do. Mommy had a warm, motherly howl. Daddy had a strong, deep howl. His brothers had a happy, yappy howl. and his sister's howl was sweet and lovely. Together they sang a beautiful song, but Little Wolf had no howl at all. Oh, look, here's his mommy and his daddy and his brothers and his sister. And there he is, off by himself. Why do we think he can't howl? We will see. All he could manage was a little squeak. His brothers and sister teased Little Wolf. A wolf who can't howl isn't a real wolf at all. Is that true? Because he can't howl, does that mean he's not a wolf? What do you think? I don't think so. I think that his brothers and sister were just being mean. He's still a wolf. He just might be a little different right now, and that's okay. Let's call him Squeaky, they said, laughing. This made Little Wolf very sad. Oh, that's not nice. It's not nice to tease people. Don't listen to them, said Daddy. Mommy said, you just have to give it time. One day when the time is right, you will be able to howl. Oh, that's very nice. Look, here's his daddy and here's his mommy. And they are comforting him right now because his brothers and sister were teasing him, so he was sad. So Little Wolf tried not to worry. While his brothers and sister played, he wandered off alone, watching the birds and listening to their songs. Oh, how sweet. But it said he wandered off alone. What does that mean? He went off into the woods by himself? Ooh, we're not supposed to do that. We don't want to get lost. One afternoon, Little Wolf was chasing snowflakes. He ran up and down and all around, trying to catch as many as he could. The fresh, cold snow was so delicious. Oh, so he's eating the snowflakes. Wow. But what is he still doing? Look, he's all by himself. Oh no, I hope he doesn't get lost. Up the hill he ran, farther and farther, until, what do you think is going to happen? Oh no. Oh no. Look, nothing else is in the background. It's just him by himself. Little Wolf didn't know where he was. He had never been this far away from home. He looked around. Nothing looked familiar. There's that word we talked about earlier. Little Wolf ran back and forth, trying to find the way home. But he was lost. Oh no. What do you think he'll do? He's all by himself. He doesn't have his mommy or his daddy or his brothers or his sister. What would you do? Do you have any idea? Let's think, if you were in a grocery store with your parents and then you looked back and they were gone, what would you do? Let's see what he does. Soon as it grew dark, Little Wolf was frightened. But when a perfect full moon rose in the sky, everything started to glisten. What does glisten mean? Look, the moon shine on the snow and everything started to sparkle. Yeah, in the moonlight. The only thing Little Wolf could hear was the gentle sound of snow falling. He looked up at the big yellow moon and the time felt just right. What do you think it felt right to do? What is he talking about? The time felt just right. Howl! The sound of the most beautiful howl traveled through the night sky. Oh, wow. What do you think's gonna happen? So he was lost all by himself, and then he let out a big howl, and it said it was the most beautiful howl that traveled through the night sky. Let's see what happens. Suddenly, a deep voice behind him said, "Here you are, little wolf." Little Wolf knew this voice well. "Daddy, Daddy, did you hear me?" "Yes, Little Wolf, that's how I found you." Oh my goodness, so what happened? He let out that loud, beautiful howl because he was lost. And look who found him. Look, the bird in the background even looks happy for him. And look, they're both smiling. When you're smiling, that usually means that you're happy. "Let's go home and tell your mother," said Daddy. "She must be worried." Little Wolf scampered ahead. "Come on, Daddy, hurry," he said. How do you think Little Wolf is feeling right now? He was lost, and when he was lost, he was probably really scared and lonely. And now he found his dad, and he's scampering like he's really happy, and he's probably relieved and excited to go back to his family. Little Wolf's family was very proud. Wow. His sister made him tell a story over and over again. And his brother said, "Come on, let's all practice howling together." Little Wolf led the others. So what's different now? From now to the beginning of the story, what changed? So now it says, Little Wolf led the others in howling. They were all practicing together. But in the beginning of the story, that was different. In the beginning, Little Wolf didn't know how to howl, and everyone else in his family did. His mommy and his daddy, his brothers and his sister all knew how to howl except for him. And now he's leading the pack to practice howling. Now, whenever there is a full moon, Little Wolf and his father go up to that magical place. And you can hear them howling at the moon together, the most beautiful song you have ever heard. Wow, so they go back to where the daddy found him and they practice howling together. And look, what did they call their howl? The most beautiful song. They related their song to the howl. And that's it. That's the end of our story. Wow, what did you all think of that? We heard lots of new words. There were some big words and there were some really short words. Like, let's look at a couple. Ooh, what about all and he? In the word all, there's 1, 2, 3 letters. And in he, there's only 2. So those are short words. And then in this word, brothers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 letters in the word brother. So there are some short words and there are some long words. Now, from all the words that we listened to in the story, do you remember what we talked about in the beginning? Maybe there's some that are more familiar to you and ones that you hear more often and that you say more often. And then maybe there are some that are more unfamiliar to you. So ones that maybe you don't hear that often, or maybe you never even say them. So we are going to look at some of the words in our story, and we're going to find them in the book. And then we're going to talk about other words that mean the same thing as them, or the synonym, and then words that mean the opposite as that word, or that's called the antonym. So I have a big long list of words over here. We have our word that we found in the story, and then we have the antonym, or words that mean the opposite, and then we have a list of synonyms that mean the same thing as our first word. So whenever I give you the first word, I want you to think really, really hard. And you can even type it in the chat box, or you can just say it out loud, or you think it inside of your head. All right. So our first word is little. So for just a second, think, what's a word that means the same thing as little? So you could use it in place of this word in a sentence, and it would mean the same thing. So this is called the synonyms. So what do you think? If I said, the wolf was so little. Yes, Krista said tiny. That's a great example. One that I wrote down was small. So small, tiny, and little all mean similar things. So you could exchange it in the title. You could say, Small Wolf's Song. Or you could say, Tiny Wolf's Song. And it all means the same thing. Okay, now let's think about the antonym, or a word that means the opposite of little. What would mean the opposite of little? Really, really big, right? So the opposite of little could be big or large or huge. They all mean similar things. So if you wanted to exchange little with a word that means the opposite, you could say big wolf song, right? And it would mean the opposite. He's not a little wolf anymore, he's a big wolf. All right, good job. Now our next word is high. Let's see if we can find it in the story. Oh, I already found it. It's on the first page in our story. Little Wolf lived high up in the mountains. High. What does that mean? If he lived high up in the mountains, you think really, really tall, really, really high up, right? Like if you're in an airplane, you're really high in the sky. Yeah. Or another word for that that I thought of earlier was maybe elevated. Ooh, think of an elevator. When you get on and you press a button to go up, you go up, 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 up. Yeah, because it elevates you high up. Okay, now let's think of the antonym. So something that means the opposite of high. So if you wanted to think, Little Wolf lives high up in the mountains, what is the opposite of that? Not high up, but down low, right? So you could change that out. Little Wolf lived low down in the mountains. Okay, that works too. It just means the opposite. All right, our next word is going to be warm. All right, So let's think. In the beginning of this story, we said, what is all of this around him? We said that was snow, right? Yeah, so we're talking about the temperature, with hot and cold and warm and chilly. So our word is warm. So what is the synonym or the word that means the same or similar to warm? What do you think? Yeah, it's similar to hot or humid or muggy. When you go outside and you just, whew, it's too warm out here for me, or it's too hot. So what's the antonym for that? He's not warm, is he? No, because it's snowing. So that means that it's probably cold. Yeah. So the opposite of warm is cold or chilly. Yes. Okay. Our next word is sweet. Now, before we figure out the synonym and the antonyms, we need to figure out what we're talking about. So, on the first page again, they're talking about all the wolves' howls and how they sound. And it says, his sister's howl was sweet and lovely. Huh. So they don't mean sweet like sugar, like you're tasting, do they? No, they mean they're describing how her howl sounded. So whenever you say, that sounds so sweet, what is a word that we can use to mean the same thing or the synonym? Hmm, what do you think? What about nice or kind? And they kind of reused it when they said sweet and lovely, because those are kind of synonyms too. So you could say, his sister's howl was nice and lovely. So it was pleasant to listen to. All right. And then what about the antonym? What means the opposite of sweet or pleasant? Hmm, what do you think? Yeah, if you're talking about how the person is, you could say they're unpleasant, or it sounds unpleasant, or it's noisy. Yeah, so just the way that we hear things. Or if you're talking about the opposite of kind or polite, you could say mean and sour. Ooh, sour can be used for taste or when we're describing a person's behavior. So you can say, that little boy was acting sour at the grocery store. All right. Our next word is silent. What does silent mean? What do you all think? I'm sure you've heard this one before. Let's see if I can find it in the book. Oh, okay. So, whenever Little Wolf went off on his own, there was a point when everything went silent. He realized that he was alone, and the night sky and the moon was the only thing that was around him. So, what is the opposite of silent? The opposite of silent would be talkative or noisy or loud. because that means the opposite. It's the antonym, right? Okay, so what could replace the word silent in our story? When we say everything was silent, there was no one around. What could replace that to mean the same thing? How about quiet? Or you could say everything was muted, just like on the TV. Whenever you can't hear what someone is saying next to you, you might press the mute button and then the TV is completely silent, right? Okay, so we have time for one more. Let's see. How about the word lost? So, when Little Wolf went off by himself without his family, he got lost. So let's think about what that means. He was lost, he was alone, he couldn't find his way. Okay, now what could replace that word in our story when it said, Little Wolf was lost? What do you think? How about gone or absent? Like when someone isn't at school for the day, you say they are absent, which means they are not here today. Okay, now let's think about words that mean the opposite of lost. If someone isn't lost, then they're present, right? Or you could say they've been found. So they are not lost, they are here right now. Good job. So if Little Wolf went off into the woods and he was not lost, you could say that he was present or he was found, just like his dad found him in the woods. All right. Good job, everyone. You all did so good. I hope that you enjoyed looking at our words from the story and thinking about the antonyms, which means the opposite, and our synonyms, which means the same. And I also hoped that you loved hearing about Little Wolf's song and his journey to finding his family again. All right, thank you all so much for joining us today. We have another reading at 12:30 this afternoon with a brand new book. So I hope to see you there, and I will be back also to comment with you all in the comment section. So we will see you in just a little bit. Bye-bye.